Going back to the slide. Anybody remember the sandwich?
Yeah, I remember this one.
Okay.
So
What is
the Bhakti yoga is the most important yoga of all the yogas, but then it's placed in the middle.
Yes.
And then
yes.
the
So why did we
Jnana
compare it to a sandwich?
yoga. Yeah, the Jnana yoga is a bottom yoga. Not that important as the middle yoga, the Bhakti yoga, and the Karma yoga, the top yoga, or I meant the bread part, top bread, is the part whenever it's less important than the Bhakti yoga. The Bhakti yoga is whenever you can see Lord Krishna. The Jnana yoga is one bit higher than the Karma yoga, and the Karma yoga is one bit less than the Jnana yoga.
Yes, yes. No, but the example we gave sandwich is the most important part is in the middle, and that's what the sandwich is named. So Bhakti is in the middle 6 chapters. Krishna stresses that Bhakti yoga is the topmost. So though he mentions the other yoga systems in Bhagavad Gita, we should focus on Bhakti yoga because Krishna himself is saying that's the best.
And Ashwitaji, let's let some other people answer this one.
Yeah, so if anybody else wants to has any points about the yoga ladder we learned, I think Ashmita ji already told us.
Yes.
Yes.
I have already told that.
Yeah. Okay, and then we discussed about the 9 forms of bhakti: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam,
and then we're doing Shravanam.
Yeah, Shravanam.
Prabhuji, I have one doubt.
Yeah.
Why is it that we haven't included Ashtanga Yoga in the Bhagavad Gita?
Yeah, Ashtanga Yoga is also there. It's so here, Ashtanga Yoga is here.
Prabhuji, you said that there are 18 chapters and out of it 6.
Right. Oh, so this one, right? So,
Yes,
so this is the high level classification. So Ashtanga Yoga also comes within the Karma Yoga. So if you just do 3 high level yogas, this is this. But if you go deeper and we can even separate out the Jnana Yoga into like Ashtanga Yoga and then Dhyana Yoga, Raja Yoga. This all comes by more knowledge. So yeah, so the good question. This is the first slide is a very high level classification, and even these Jnana Yoga is divided into many yogas within the Bhagavad Gita, but and each yoga is only given 1 chapter actually, and then Bhakti Yoga is given full 6 chapters. Okay. All right, and then we discussed about the Yuga Dharma, that in this Yuga of Kali Yuga, the best process is to chant the holy names of the Lord in the form of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
Yeah, Kali Yuga is the easiest one. You said last class, since all you have to do is at least chant 1 round of Hare beads, and do this every day, at least 1 round, and then slowly, if you want to go to 16 rounds, that'll take 2 hours to do 16 rounds, and then slowly you'll do 1 round to 3 rounds to 5 rounds to 8, and then you'll slowly become to 16 rounds every day if you want to.
Okay. So we discussed about Jnana and Vijnana. We discussed about, so how self-realization is a goal of life, to understand we are not this body, but we are spirit soul. That's a very important topic in Bhagavad Gita. So that anything that happens to the body will not affect us when we know that we are not this temporary body, but we are the soul who's residing in the body. So we learned all that. So let's go to today's topic. Okay. So that's practical applications of Gita in our lives.
Does it say part 2?
Yeah, so part 2 is just because we didn't cover it in last class, so we're just covering it here.
Okay.
So what does a guru teach? So a guru, actual guru should teach you how to be Krishna conscious. Like, how can you purify your consciousness that Krishna is in your consciousness, and your thinking, feeling and willing is consciousness, right? So that is always connected to Krishna. That is what a guru should teach, not a person who says, I am God, or who says, give me this money, I will remove your sorrows. So those kind of gurus are actually bogus gurus. Who actually teaches you to be a good devotee of the Lord is the actual guru. And then, so these are, and many of you may not be following this, but slowly, when you start taking the Sankirtan or chanting the holy names of the Lord, these things will manifest, all these good qualities. So one is no meat eating. We should try not to eat meat. We should try not to drink alcohol or smoke.
In what?
We should not gamble, no gambling. No illicit sex is no illicit relationship. Yeah, so what is it?
How do you pronounce this?
Intoxication.
Intoxication.
Yeah,
no intoxication.
Prabhuji,
Yes.
is it okay for animals to eat meat too?
So animals are, we discussed, right? So a lion and tiger, you might say, lion and tiger is eating meat. So why not we also eat meat, because we are an animal. But the thing is, we are not animals. We are different from
And we have
animals.
more knowledge than
Yeah, we have power to think and decide, make good choices. Now, we have so many choices. So if you think why we are eating meat, it is just to satisfy our tongue and for a better taste or things like that. But for actually living, we don't need to kill animals, right? To eat them, and then only we can, because there are so many vegetarians in this world who are living a normal life, right? So if you think about it, why are we eating animals? It's only for the taste. And some people say, oh, I'm eating animals for the protein, but we can get protein from a plant-based diet as well. But again, it is not really about animals or plants we eat. Like if you take the highest level is eating only prasadam. Yeah. So whatever you can offer the Lord and take like serving him and then having the remnants of that, that means you cannot eat meat, because in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, give me some water or a fruit or a flower or a leaf. He doesn't say, give me some meat or chicken kebabs or something like that. So the highest level that you should think, not now, but you should try to be, is always eat only prasadam. So that means you're purifying yourself.
But Akshay, you don't eat prasadam every day.
I'm trying to.
Yeah, even Prabhuji.
Yeah.
One thing that people don't realize, which is bad, and they do it, is that they eat junk food whenever it's not good for health, and then whenever they eat it, it causes some trouble for the body.
Yes. So all this processed foods are all bad, because if you are trying to always make prasadam and eat it, you'll always make food for the Lord at home, very, very nice, wholesome food, which doesn't have any preservatives, and because you're offering it to the Lord. So when you offer to the Lord and then eat it, you're actually making your health better. So there are many good aspects if you take up this. So yes, Ashmita ji, I agree that all the processed foods, even vegetarian food, is kind of harmful because they have a lot of chemicals in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
People just search for money.
yes, everything is based on money. And then I think we briefly discussed this last week about moral and spiritual honesty. So our morality is based on what pleases Krishna. So if we always try to please God, whatever we do will be perfect and moral. So if we think about something that makes us happy and do not worry about does this actually make the Lord happy, then we might be doing something bad. So always if we think, I have a choice now to give a poor person some prasadam I made at home, or I have another
Have it all
choice.
to myself.
Yeah, or I have a choice to throw this out in the street because I don't care about others. So then we for ourselves we'll be like, I don't have enough room at home to hold all this, so let me just throw it away. But if you're thinking of what pleases God, then we would give it to a person who needs the food, right? So that's why we should think just above ourselves. We should think what would make God happy, and then if we do things that way, our activities will all be pure.
Yeah, Prabhuji.
Yes.
And sometimes when we're going for walking, I just throw the leftover fruits down so that the trees or the trees will get lots of minerals. So is that okay instead of throwing litter down? The trees will have more energy to do anything if you throw down good things. For example, dirt. Yeah, dirt is one of the main things that they need, but they're not sometimes not one of the main things, but then it helps plants do things much better. And
I think you're saying about composting instead of throwing it away and all that. Yeah. So make the best use of the Lord's energy, because everything is the Lord's energy, so we shouldn't be wasting it. So if we think about everything as coming from Krishna, we would make the best use of it instead of wasting and like turning on lights and keeping it on when we don't need it. If we think that, this is the Lord's energy, I should use it in this service, let me not waste. Just put a fan and light in a room that nobody is there, and simply waste that energy. And like you said, if we can compost all the the plantain peels and all the vegetable skins that we don't eat, if we compost it and use it as fertilizer, and if you have the time to do it, that'll be very good, because you can have a vegetable farm in your own house and you're making the best use of the Lord's energy. So it's a very good point, Ashmita ji. Okay, so another point is, definition of morality. So there is one important aspect that, again, we are talking about God and how to serve God and how to be good devotees, but it's also important to do your duty, okay? So we should balance our material duties. So as a child, you have duties to your parents, your duties to your teachers, to your school, to your curriculum. You have to study well. So all that needs to be balanced well. And one example of that is this story that's about Kaushik Muni. So this Kaushik Muni was a great devotee. He was always meditating on the Lord, but he thought he's somebody great, and he thought only people like him are good devotees, or he would he would think that others who are at home taking care of their children or doing their work are really fallen and bad. So one day he was meditating, and then there was this crane that came on top of the tree where he was meditating, and it actually started dropping on Kaushik Muni, and all the bird dropping came on his face, and he was so angry that he looked at the bird, and because of his mystical power, the bird, it burned to ashes. So the bird was not intentionally putting its bird dropping on the rishi, right? So it didn't deserve to die that way, but just because of the anger of this Muni, that bird got burned. So he went then to a
Is this
house.
about karma?
No, this is just about doing your duty as well as having bhakti. So then he went to this person, this housewife who was doing all the household chores, and she actually cooked some good prasadam. But then her husband came, and she had to give him some water and take care of him before she came to give Kaushik Rishi his prasadam, the food to eat. And then Kaushik Rishi indirectly said, "Yeah, I've been waiting so long. This food is so late," and things like that. Then this housewife was a very good devotee. So she said, "Actually, Rishi, I tried my best. I know you have to be served, but I was just doing my duty. So please don't treat me like the crane you burned." Kaushik Rishi, she knows better than me. So then Kaushik Rishi said, "So where can I learn about the duties we have?" So then this housewife said, go to the city, and there's a person called Dharma Vyada. So go to Dharma Vyada, he will teach you. So this Rishi went. He went to the city, is looking for Dharma Vyada, and he didn't find anybody. And finally, he found somebody who was actually a butcher. He was cutting meat. And he's like, "Whoa, this is such a yucky person. He's killing animals. So how can I learn about duty from him?" But then this butcher said, "Oh," Dharma Vyada said, "Please come with me," and he took the Rishi to his house. But at his house, this butcher had a very nice family. He was taking care of his parents. He was taking care of his children. He had a good altar for the Lord. He was praying to the Lord. He wasn't eating doing any sins at home, like eating meat or anything. But then Kaushik Muni understood that this person was doing his work as a butcher, but he was following everything correctly. So some people, they might have certain works which are contrary to what we believe, but we shouldn't judge them as bad or good or any of that. We should see what their character is and how they truly are, and what do they practice at home. So then Kaushik Rishi understood that even different persons who do different jobs can be really a good devotee. Again, that doesn't mean as devotees we should try to become butchers, but this is just a story that says even a butcher who due to his life circumstance had to take up that job to sustain his family. If he follows a good life at home, he's doing the right thing.
But is he eating meat?
No, he wasn't eating meat, but he had to do that job to sustain his family due to some circumstances. But if we get some jobs that are hurting animals or hurting people, we should try to get out and do another job. That's another aspect of it. But somehow this butcher Dharma Vadya didn't have that opportunity. He had to do that job, so he was doing it. So that's how Kaushik Muni came to understand that there are different duties in the world, and one person has to do that duty. and also follow the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so then we discussed about charity. What's the best charity? The charity given at the wrong place to the wrong person at the wrong time is charity in the mode of ignorance. We said the three gunas are there, right? Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. Sattvagun, Rajogun, and Tamogun. So even charity can be divided into these three classification. So if you give something to the wrong person, so if you're doing a job and you give some money to seeing somebody on the street and to help him, you're giving him money. But if he's taking the money and going, trying to buy a gun and shoot somebody, that's not the right charity we should do. Or he takes the money to go drink alcohol or smoke. We shouldn't do.
But you don't know.
Yeah, so you should give only after researching if this is the right person to give the money to. So that this is if you give without even thinking and I'm just giving, I'm doing what God likes. But if you're not doing your due diligence to check who you're giving to, that's even a charity in the mode of ignorance. And then there is charity in the mode of passion or Rajogun. This is you're giving something to the right person, okay, who really needs this for his livelihood, but then you are doing it for a wrong reason. You're doing it just to say, oh, I'm a great giver, or just to show off. So that would be a charity in the mode of passion. And charity in the mode of goodness is giving at the right place to the right person at the right time with the right motive. Passion was with the wrong motive, wrong intention of giving. It's not to help that person, but to just show that you are great. So that's mode of passion. But mode of goodness is even you don't want to get anything out of it. You are genuinely wanting to help somebody. That's mode of goodness. So, but these are the three different ways you can look at charity in this world. But if the best charity that you can do is transcendental charity, that is giving somebody the knowledge about Krishna, because then their soul or their consciousness will become clear, and then Krishna will take care of them and bring them into a state where they are not suffering because they have Krishna in their heart. So it is very important that as all of you start learning about Krishna, you should share the knowledge of Krishna and God to others, because that is the highest charity. Because if others take up God consciousness, they will become pure and they would be less suffering in this world. Okay. So that's what we can do. So there are many people who are doing jobs. Everybody is trying to just satisfy their own senses. But devotee also goes to the office, wears a suit and coat and tie, and goes to work either as a doctor, engineer, architect, or whatever you want to be to earn money. But then the intention is different. One is to serve God. So if you set up a little small temple at home, like an altar at home, and every day you pray to God, you give very humbly, give him water or give him a fruit and pray to him, oh God, please help me do my work so that I can keep this altar at home, I can maintain you here. So the intention is always to serve God, and you're to maintain the temple at home. You need to give food to God to make prasadam, right? So so if your intention is to serve God, but then you are getting served as well. So just like many of you have drivers, right? In India, many of you have drivers. So do you tell your car driver, hey, put on a jacket, don't get the AC in my car, cover your ears, don't listen to the music that's coming from my stereo system? You don't say that, right?
Yeah.
So as long as the driver is with you and taking care of you, taking you where you want to go, you can enjoy all the facilities in the car that the driver can enjoy. So similarly, if you act as a servant of the Lord and do everything that God likes, you will enjoy all the different things that God has, because it comes automatically to you. So that's a very important aspect, to tie everything to serve God, and then everything will be nice, and you'll never have suffering. Because our beginning of this whole course was, what is the reason of suffering in this world? It is because we are all trying to enjoy independent of God. But if we connect everything to God, then there won't be any suffering. In any material suffering that comes, it's again to purify you, and this is not the real happiness. Comes because you have God in your heart, and that's the happiest thing that you can experience. Okay, so what can we do? We can establish an altar at home. So all of you, if you don't have a little place for prayer, you should establish that. And then whenever you get a fruit, or if you can offer some water, if you have a picture of Lord in your home, you can give him some water, a leaf, a tulsi leaf, or a fruit, and you can do some arti, and so you can spiritualize your whole home. And when you always have the Lord in your mind, and if you have a home that's always praying to the Lord, then that place is not a material world anymore. So you're actually making that place spiritual world. And we discussed what is the difference between material world and spiritual world. Material world has all the suffering and it's temporary, but spiritual world, there is no suffering and always happiness is there. So if you can do little things like that, you could even have spiritual world where you are, and that's how you can be happy even in this place of misery. That's the material world. Even though it is a prison house, you can have God in your home and in your heart, and you can be always happy. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, so Yudhishthira, he always does everything good, but then he always feels sad whenever everybody says that it was not like that, but then sometimes they say that it was his fault whenever it wasn't actually his fault.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so he suffers for that for some reason.
Yes, but again, some of that is always Krishna is there to correct him right there, and some of these are higher rasas or mellows or feelings that when you are completely connected to God, you are part of his pastimes. Like Srimati Radharani and the gopis, they are very sad when Krishna goes away, but actually that sadness is also happiness, because when they're thinking about the Lord, oh Lord, when are you coming, and thinking about the Lord, that feeling of viraha or separation, they say, is even higher than yeah. So there are different moods, and so with great devotees like Yudhishthira or the gopis, since they're always connected to Krishna, all those feelings are part of their enjoyment. Actually, they're not really suffering. Yes.
So, remember when we watched the show Radha Krishna? I remember you telling me that Krishna was saying to Radha that because Krishna was leaving someplace, and then Radha didn't want him to go. So then Krishna told Radha that if I go away, you'll be sad, but you will love me more than you love me now.
Yeah. So that's those are all very, very high level aspects. We can learn about it later, but as neophytes or persons who are starting to learn about God and bhakti now, we can't mimic or try to try to act that same bhava. That's very, very high bhava to have. So that's a very, very high feeling that to understand. But a person who is not close to Krishna, love in separation and things, is first you have to develop that love, that high level of love for the Lord. And then you will feel that love in separation is higher. But first we have to cultivate that love, right? Yeah.
Prabhuji?
Yes.
I don't know, but last class you told us that imagine if you're naked, that means you're going to be a tree, since you're not wearing any clothes whenever you're being a tree. And if you swim like a fish, that means you're a fish. And if you walk like a human, you're going to be a human. It's like that. You had told us that thing.
Yeah. So those are what consciousness you have. Like you're using all your energies in this life to keep on swimming every time. And then the Lord will say, hey, you like swimming so much, so why don't you swim all your life as a fish? The point is, we shouldn't be wasting our time. Again, swimming is good for exercise. I'm not saying that, but if you make your life's purpose to always swim, then the Lord is very merciful. He'll give you a body of a fish so that you can swim all the time in your next life. Similarly, in this life, if you're focused on showing your body off and wearing clothes that are revealing to the public, then that is what your whole intention for life is. So then why not just be a tree where you're showing your body to everyone fully naked, right? So he'll change your consciousness to the level that you are showing in this life what you like the most. And there's a body for every consciousness. All right. So so it's very important to cultivate spiritual practices, because
80% marriages in America.
Yes. So in America, there are a lot of divorces because everybody is looking for their own happiness. They don't would never adjust for another person. If something is going wrong, they wouldn't work it out. They would just say, oh, okay, let's just quit our relationship and go our separate ways. So in America, there are 80% of marriages end in divorces, and that really affects the children, right? Like if the dad and mom have children and they leave and they separate, then the children will feel so sad and their upbringing won't be right. So if you have the Lord in your house, a family that prays together stays together. So that's why we should establish a little altar and treat our home like a temple, and all family members should, like this family you see in this picture, they should spend time praying so that they will always stay together. And the lack of prayer and God in their life is the reason why America has 80% of divorces, while India doesn't have that much. But now India is trying to follow the West, and so that's a bad way to follow. So like bad example to follow. So all of us, though we are in America, or most of us in America, we should follow the good practices that India teaches us, and the scriptures teaches us. Okay, so this is just like how children are affected, and we should always, for the young kids also, we should always include them in prayers, because they're very impressionable, and then they can take up belief in God and pray to God. Okay, so this is just the importance of having a little temple at home, and then this is about japa. So chanting the holy names is very important. We should chant our beads with concentration. These are all higher levels. So first is to start chanting, and slowly we can increase our concentration. It's like mantra meditation. You have to meditate on the holy names. Yeah, best time to chant is before the sun rises. It's called Brahma Muhurta. it's not a problem that you don't follow all this. Now you'll think, oh, this is so difficult. But then when you start chanting, automatically your mind will bring you to these higher standards. Yeah, what is it?
So is going back to the Lord make what doing something that like doing something that will make the Lord happy. Going back to that, is if you do everything that makes Krishna happy, is that are you doing everything a good thing?
Yeah, because you're dovetailing, it's called, or connecting everything to Krishna. Because before you do anything, oh Lord, is this going to make you happy or not? When you're thinking like that, you're spiritualizing all your activities, and you're making good choices, right? Okay, right. So the 4 do's are A, B, C, D. Easy. We have to associate with devotees, just like all of us are doing right now. We have to read books. That's what we are doing, following the Bhagavad Gita. C is chanting the holy names. We chanted at the beginning of the class. D, diet or Krishna Prasad. We can't do it over the call. So all of you at home should try to offer food, bhoga to Krishna. And then
my name is Ayana Prasad. That means like prasadam.
Yeah. Okay, so quickly we'll learn about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, 500 years back, appeared. He is Krishna himself who taught us how to follow the Sankirtana movement in Kali Yuga. So he's the most merciful, and he gave us the way to follow Krishna Bhakti, which is very secretive knowledge. If you have to read the entire Vedas and Bhagavad Gita and everything to understand that for Kali Yuga, the chanting of the holy name is the highest. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and gave that secret to everyone and said, if you chant and dance at the holy name, you can develop bhakti for the Lord. So he's a very, very merciful incarnation, or Lord himself who came. So then when the Lord comes to the world, he brings all his associates. So you must have seen this picture many times, but you don't know who they are. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is Nityananda Prabhu. This is Advaita Acharya. This is Gadadhar Pandit. And this is Srivas Acharya. So this is like Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Adi Gaura Bhaktavrinda. So that's what we sing before we sing Hare Krishna, because the 5 aspects of bhakti, they're called Panchatattva. They gave us this wonderful Hare Krishna Mahamantra to chant and be happy in this Kali Yuga. And why are they very merciful? You know, we discussed about the 4 yugas, right? In the Satya Yuga, everybody was very pure. And all the demons, they were not even in the same planet. In Earth, there were only good people. Everybody was God-fearing, and in Satya Yuga. All the demons, if they came to the world, they came from another world. Then there was Treta Yuga. So now there were demons who started appearing in the same world. So on Earth there were good people and bad people. Okay, so Treta Yuga, you know, Ravan was there when Rama came to the world. Yeah, and then Dwapara Yuga is when Krishna came to the world, and the bad people were not only in this world, they were in the same family. Remember Kauravas and Pandavas? Even in Krishna's family, there was Shishupala, Dandavakra, and all those bad people, and Kamsa were related to Krishna. So all of them in the same family. Jarasandha, yeah. So then in Kali Yuga, actually all the bad people, all the bad, good and bad. No, yeah, all good and bad is within yourself.
What?
Yeah.
Um,
So that even within yourself, there's a good and a bad. So it depends on who you feed. If you feed the good person will show. Otherwise, if you keep saying bad things and doing bad things, you're feeding the bad person in your heart, and that person will show. So this picture here is showing about two criminals. They are called Jagai and Madai. So this happened 500 years back. And these were
Jagai and Madai, you told us about before.
yeah. So Jagai and Madai were did all criminal activities that they were used to pickpocket. They used to steal gold from others' houses. They used to do all these bad things. They used to set houses on fire. They used to drink alcohol.
Kill people.
Yeah, even kill people for their money and all that. And Nityananda Prabhu, all five of them came to this world during Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time to spread bhakti. And Nityananda Prabhu, because he's very merciful, Nityananda Prabhu is the person always wearing blue here. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you'll see always wearing the yellow robes. Yeah.
That means that
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna and Nityananda Prabhu is Balaram. Okay?
But in
Yeah. So let me finish the story. So Jagai and Madai were walking in the street, and Nityananda Prabhu came and said, please take up the Harinam, and doesn't matter what you're doing, just chant the holy names. And this Madai became so angry that he took a pot from the ground, a flower pot, and hit it on poor Nityananda Prabhu's head. And he started bleeding. See, that's in the picture, you see that there are some marks on his forehead. So then, even though he was bleeding, he said, it doesn't matter what you do to me, but please chant the holy names of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. But then the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu went to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and said, these bad people are attacking Nityananda Prabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately came there. He took his Sudarshan Chakra. And then Nityananda Prabhu said, please don't do that. Don't show your Sudarshan Chakra here, because everybody in this Kali Yuga are bad. And then we'll have to kill everybody. So it's better that we give them love for God. And that will purify them. So this is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did. He purified these two criminals, and then after that, they became so pure that even they were serving the devotees, and they joined the congregational movement of bhakti at that time. So the transformation is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu brings to this Kali Yuga, transformation of our heart, because the good and bad person is within ourselves. They remove that bad person. And this picture is just showing how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made everybody chant the holy names. And when he went to the forest of Jharkhand, even the animals started chanting the holy names of the Lord. And here you see how a deer and tiger are embracing each other. While Mahaprabhu was there, they forgot they were animals, and they were all chanting the holy names and hugging and being happy, taking care of each other. So this is another pastime that happened 500 years ago. Which brings us to our Srila Prabhupada, who came to America 50 years back and established ISKCON, right? So just very important aspects of Prabhupada's life. When he was born, his name was Abhay Charan, and his father and mother were great devotees of the Lord. Gaur Mohan Dey and Rajani were the parents of Srila Prabhupada. And 1896 was when Prabhupada was born, and then even through his childhood, he was a great devotee of the Lord. But he lived a life as a householder like most of us. Like he had a family, he had a wife and kids, but he was always a great devotee of the Lord. And then he met his spiritual master, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So this, he met his spiritual master while he was in Mahatma Gandhi's, Mahatma Gandhi is a free.
And his spiritual master was
Gaur Kishore Babaji Maharaj. And then his is, and before that is Bhakti Vinod Thakur, and then Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. So that's the disciplic succession. Anyway, so Srila Prabhupada, he was initiated by his spiritual master, and he was given the instruction to spread this message of Krishna and Bhakti to the Western world. So Prabhupada started writing a lot of books. So he started writing, translating Srimad Bhagavatam and writing his purports, and he published that. He was in Vrindavan all the time, but then his spiritual master had said to spread Krishna consciousness. So at the very, very old age of 70, he took a ship called Jaladuta, okay? And he didn't have any money with him. So he only had 40 rupees in his hand. Thankfully, he knew the owner of the ship, and they said, you can go for free because this is a cargo ship. And it is going from India to the US. He was born in Calcutta, right, Prabhupada? So then he had to come in a ship with a free ticket. He got into this ship called Jaladuta.
Is that New York?
Yeah, that's New York. So he traveled in the ship for 35 days, and he got 2 heart attacks in the water. So in the ocean. And Prabhupada was thinking, oh my Lord, if I get another heart attack, I will die, because usually they say after 2 heart attacks, the heart becomes very weak. So in spite of all those reversals, Prabhupada finally reached Boston Harbor. And when he came, he didn't know anybody. After 35 days, he came to the US, and he slowly started his movement, just chanting at the like in a park, and then many people started joining him, because at that time there was the Vietnam War was going, and many of the younger generation, they wanted to break free from the culture that was there, and they found Prabhupada, and many people who were drinking, smoking, womanizing, and all those people. They were purified by Prabhupada, because they came to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada taught them about Krishna and made them start chanting. And they were called the hippies. They used to grow hair and start do drugs and all those bad things. But then slowly, Prabhupada was still merciful on them and gave them little instruction. They followed that, and they overcame all their bad habits and became great devotees. And then Prabhupada actually, within 10 years, so he left this world when he was 81. He came to the US when he was 70. So in just 11 years, he established 108 temples. He came with 40 rupees, but then he convinced so many souls, and they all helped Prabhupada build this huge movement, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, all over the world. And before he left this world, he still established 108 temples. And that's some of the pictures of the big temples of ISKCON around the world. And he established this whole Sankirtan movement. Okay, so we'll conclude our class today and go to the Kahoot. So let's start.
Wait,
Yes.
I have something to say. You know, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu?
Yes.
It's like Nityananda Prabhu is Balaram, and then in the spiritual world, Balaram is a bit aggressive, and Krishna is like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, very merciful. But in Kali Yuga, it's like they're opposite.
Yeah. That's a good, very good observation. Okay. So the game pin is 6901266.
6901266.
Yeah. Prabhupada wrote about 70 books. He initiated more than 5,000 devotees, and he wrote about 10,000 letters in this 10 years. And all those letters have so much
Person. Who's person in Bhima?
So only 3 players today?
No, Dhruv.
Oh, hi, Drew. Oh, there's so much echo. I know. Maybe
Prabhuji, what is the game pin?
it's 6901266. Don't you see the screen?
Yes, Prabhuji, now I can see.
What is this called?
Okay, Chaitra ji, Ishwar ji, and Bhima ji are in. Who else?
Oh, good time, Mosi.
Okay.
There are 9 participants only in the meeting.
So we learned in our class that even higher than good karma is akarma, right? So Shuddha Sattva, meaning doing good for Krishna, not just for yourself.
Ishwar, I have a question. Ishwar,
What is it?
I want to ask Ishwar.
He's on mute. Okay, can we start?
No, Prabhuji. Please just give me a moment.
Yes, definitely.
Prabhuji, there are 9 parts.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Do you hear the sound?
Share sound. A bit higher sound. Yeah.
So far, so good. Turn off our audio.
Prabhuji, just a minute.
Okay. Drew, your voice is echoing.
Okay. Oh, no.
You sound like you're talking from a cave, but we don't. So, what's the name you joined with? I don't see you on the screen. Are you good karma or Bhima? Because I know the others. Because usually you join with some names like
Boy Salty and Yellow Jacket.
Yeah.
Prabhuji. Sorry. My gadget was not working.
Okay,
Oh,
okay.
it's okay.
We are waiting for you. No worries.
Don't worry.
So there are 20 questions today.
Boy salty. Yay.
Yeah. Now we just need to wait for Tarun ji. Okay. All right. We're going to start.
Yes, Prabhuji. We can start now.
Okay. Thank you, Tarun ji. 3, 2, 1, go. 1 of 20. How can we apply the learnings from Bhagavad Gita in our life? Chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra every day, offering closely each flower or fruit to picture of Krishna every day, reading and hearing Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, all of the above. So one person answered chanting, which is also correct, but all of this you can do. You should do. Okay? That's the practical
Boy
application.
salty. Yay.
Okay, what did Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu preach to the world? Developing love for God by harmony, follow your instinct, challenge other religions, never give Krishna's message to anyone
What?
else. So, what did he actually do? Yes, developing love for God by Harinam. Harinam means Hare Krishna Mahamantra and chanting. Not follow your instincts. Your instincts may not be correct because
Prabhuji, you gave one option as challenge other religions.
yeah, that's also not correct. You should be tolerant to all religions. Never give Krishna's message to anyone else. He was the opposite. He wanted to give the secret message to everyone.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. First is Ishwarji. Okay. Who are the Pancha Tattvas? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya and Gadadhar Pandit, Srivasa, all of the above. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasa Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. We discussed this in class.
Oh.
Yeah, it's all of the above. Okay, 4 of 20. How did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu purify the two criminals, Jagai and Madai? Killing them, instructing them, giving them bhakti, none of the above. Yes, giving them bhakti. Can we make our world a part of spiritual world? False true. Yeah, so we discussed how if we do ABCD, associate with devotees, read books, and then chant the holy names, and then do deity worship or picture worship, we can make the world, our world, spiritual world. Okay. What are the regulative principles we should follow? No meat eating and illicit relationship, no gambling, no intoxicants, all of the above. Yes.
That's
Nice.
an easy one. Yay.
Okay. Very close, Ishwarji and good karma. 5269 and 5262. Then Bhima Ji is on fire. Then Tarun Ji and then Ayana. Okay. 7th question. Where was Srila Prabhupada born? Kolkata, Haridwar, Mayapur, Vrindavan. So Calcutta, okay?
You?
He went to Vrindavan to Mayapur. He established the temple. Haridwar is another place, but not where he was born. Okay, Prabhupada's name kept by his parents was Abhay Charanaravinda Swami Prabhupada. What was the name given to baby Prabhupada when he was born? If you know, this is what AC stands for. His name was Abhay Charan. Prabhupada was given by his devotees. We'll learn about it. Okay. Srila Prabhupada's parents were Gaur Gadadhar De and Rajani, Gaur Mohan De and Rajani, Gaur Gadadhar De and Rajani, Gaur Mohan De and Radhika. We mentioned how they are.
Prabhuji, the first and the third options are correct. Both are the same.
Yay, I got it right.
No. First and the third is one is Radharani and one is Rajani, right? But this Gaur Mohan De is the right. And Rajani is his mom's name. Both were great devotees of the Lord. Okay. Who was Prabhupada's spiritual master? Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Gaur Kishore Babaji, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So who told him to preach to the Western world, to the English-speaking world? Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur.
Yeah,
Very
I'm on the
good.
podium.
Okay. Okay, what is the service that Srila Prabhupada got from his guru? Spread the message of Krishna to the Western world. Be in Vrindavan and do temple worship.
But it's better than one. Spreading the message is better than keeping it to some other people.
Okay, 12th question. At what age did Srila Prabhupada leave to US? 50, 60, 70, 80.
What?
There's a
How
lot
many seconds are there?
for answering. All right, very, very old age of 70, when everybody wanted to retire, he took a cargo ship.
Two people answered 80.
Yeah, 80 when 81 was when he left his body.
Yeah.
Okay, which ship did Prabhupada come to the US in? Jaladuda, Yamaduda, USS Mayflower, Santa Maria.
USS Mayflower?
Mayflower, I think, was the boat that the Patriot initially was taken by Christopher Columbus. Okay, Jaladuta is the right answer.
But I have a name.
Okay, how long did Jaladuta ship ride across the sea from India to USA take Srila
Oh, I was
Prabhupada?
listening.
1 month, 35 days, 25 days, 28 days.
This is very easy to me. 30. Oh! I gave away the answer. It just went out of my mouth.
Sorry, somehow the time I set for this was true. Okay, good. Most of you got that right.
Well, at least when everybody answers it.
Okay,
just
Oi Salty is 5, Tarun is 4.
answer
Hannah
streak
is
of
3,
14. I
Isha
thought you said
is
you
2.
only answer streak of 3.
Okay. Prabhupada had 2 heart attacks on the ship to the US. True or false? Yeah. So who would have thought if person getting 2 heart attacks in a cargo ship would establish 108 temples? That's all Krishna's doing. Okay. Very good. So good karma is 1,000 points ahead of Ishwar Ji. And then there's Ayana, who's about 3,000 points behind.
There are a lot of
Okay. Srila Prabhupada incorporated ISKCON in Boston 1967, New York City 1967, New York City 1966, Washington DC 1968.
Look at that beautiful temple.
Yeah, this is the Krishna Balaram Mandir in Vrindavan actually. Okay. Sorry, I may not have mentioned this. He came to Boston in 1965 and established ISKCON in New York City in 1966. Okay. Okay, Srila Prabhupada wrote an estimated dash letters in his physical life on earth. 10,000 letters, 15,000 letters, 20,000 letters, 17,000 letters. He used to sleep only 2 hours because he used to write the books and he used to reply to everybody who, yeah, 10,000. Oh, everybody, 2 each. I mentioned this in class actually.
Yeah.
Okay. How many times did Srila Prabhupada circle the globe spreading Krishna consciousness?
How many
So first time he came in a ship, then he went in aircrafts so many times. Is it 14 times, 20 times, 10 times, 15 times?
Prabhuji, we didn't discuss this in the class.
Yeah. I think I said 14 times he went, but it's okay. That's how you learn. In the 11 years that Prabhupada spread Krishna consciousness, he went around the world 14 times. Okay, what is the meaning of Prabhupada?
Did you even say this?
Pure devotee who takes shelter at Lord's lotus feet. Devotee, both of the above, none.
I'm just
No, Prabhupada means Prabhu.
Lord.
Devotee who takes shelter of lotus feet of the Lord. Prabhupada. Okay, Ishwar has become first place. So that's big turnover. Last question. How many temples that Srila Prabhupada established around the world? More than 100, more than 200, more than 300, more than 500? 108. Very good. All right. So good job, everyone. You all learned a lot about Srila Prabhupada today. Okay, third place goes to Ayana. Second place goes to Good Karma. And first place goes to Ishwar. Congratulations. Then fourth place goes to Oi Salty. And fifth place goes to Dima. Very good. Okay. So good job, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. We'll start a new topic from next week. I hope all of you had fun spending your
Thank you,
precious
Prabhuji.
Saturday
Hare
night,
Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Saturday morning with us. Hare Krishna, Hari Bol.
Hare Bol, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So, if anybody wants to start annotating, you can do that.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Wait, Acha, this is.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Dandot Pranam.
Acha,
Thank
how
you
do
so much.
you move this? It's. Wait. I mean, what's. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Oh.